Okay, so good morning to all of you. Today I will discuss about the different methods of feed processing for improving nutritive values of poor quality roughages. So what are those methods and how we can improve the nutritive value of poor quality roughages? We will discuss one by one different methods. First of all, I would like to say that what are the purposes of processing of, yes?
Sir, sound buffering हो रहा है.
Buffering. So, first I would like to say that what are the purposes of processing of poor quality roughages? Why we can process? What is the need of processing of poor quality roughages? There are some points which you have to remember why we can process the poor quality roughages. So first point is increase voluntary feeding. When process the poor quality roughages, then it will definitely increase the voluntary feeding by the animals of that particular roughages. It will also increase the palatability of that poor quality roughages and process it. After processing, there is the chance of reduction of the lignin and silica content. And when lignin and silica content is reduced during the processing, then definitely they increase the microbial action of particular feed. And once the microbial action will increase, then definitely it will increase the digestibility of that feed. So once digestibility will increase, the availability of the nutrient will be more. And availability of nutrient will be more, then performance of the animal will be enhanced. So by that way, after processing of the poor quality roughages, we can improve the quality of the roughages, we can improve the nutrient availability, we can improve the digestibility of that roughages, and also we can increase the palatability of that roughages. We can improve the enzymatic and microbial digestion as well, and by processing we can reduce the bulkiness of the. So once we can reduce the bulkiness of the feed, then definitely we can reduce the storage space of that feed, and we can store more quantity of the feed in a smaller space. So these are the advantages and purpose of the processing of the poor quality roughages. Must remember these points. So next to that, the dry roughage processing method. How we can process the dry roughage? What are those methods? So first is there are generally three methods which are being adopted for processing of the dry roughages. That is physical method, chemical method, and biological method. So under physical method, first one is chopping. That means cutting of the roughages, long portion of the roughages into a small parts, a small portion, a small size. So chopping, and then threshing of the dry roughages. By threshing, we can also we can reduce the particle size of the roughages. Then grinding, water treatment or water soaking, a steam treatment, densification by application of some pressure in dry roughage, and we can densify it. Irradiation. So these are the physical method of processing of roughages. Next is chemical method like acid treatment, alkali treatment, ammoniation. So these are the three methods of chemical processing. Next to that, it is a biological method of processing, that is application of white rod fungi treatment, application of different enzymes, application of mushrooms as well to reduce the lignin content of the particular feed and improve the digestibility of feed. So these three methods, physical, chemical and biological method, and by that method we can process the dry roughages. So one by one we will discuss in detail that physical method. What is chopping? Chopping, that means the cutting of the large portion of the roughages into a small size, that is 1 to 4 centimeter long pieces. That chopping will improve the feed intake, avoid the wastage of the feed, increase the palatability of the feed, reduce the time consumption during the feeding. It will also reduce the time consumption during the feeding, and once the time consumption will be reduced during the chewing process, then definitely the less energy will be used. So loss of energy will also reduce while chopping. Next to chopping, that is the threshing. So threshing is, if you belong from the village area, so that dry roughages or wheat straw is being threshed for making bhusa or making a small straw, small pieces of the straw. So threshing machine will be used for threshing purposes, and long straw will be converted into the fine size, and that fine size or straw is softer than the long straw. So palatability will be increased and also improve the feed intake. Grinding hammer will be, and roller will be used for the grinding purposes, and grinding processing method which will allow to the for mixing. So before mixing, grinding will be applicable, or we can use the hammer and roller mill for grinding. Irradiation, actually application of the X-ray and gamma ray, which breaks the ligno-cellulose bond of the poor quality roughages, and once the ligno-cellulose bond will break or reduces and decrease, then it will improve the digestibility of that particular roughages. And but the disadvantage is that there is no practical utility of this radiation process, because costing is very high and it may cause health problem while application of this irradiation. So this is the disadvantages. Water soaking is a very common method of processing of dry roughages, that dipping the dry roughages in the water for 3 to 4 hours, and dry fodder which will get saturated with the absorption. Once absorption will not be takes place, then we think that proper water soaking happens, and which cause the softening of the particular feed, and water soluble harmful compound, mainly oxalate. You kept remember that compound, the water soluble harmful compound is oxalate, which is mainly present in the pie straw. So we can prefer, or we can suggest to the farmer that pie straw will contain oxalate, and that pie straw should be fed only after water soaking. So we can remove the oxalate component from that pie straw, or better utilization of the calcium, because oxalate is bound with the calcium and forming an insoluble complex, that's calcium oxalate, and it will be excreted from the feces. So without water soaking, if you feed the pie straw to the animal, then the animal may suffer from the calcium deficiency. And so water soaking will be preferred in the pie straw feeding, and by that way we can reduce the oxalate concentration in paddy ester, we can improve the calcium utilization in the body. It will also, water soaking will also improve the voluntary feeding. And you know that sunny method, if you belong to the villages, then you might have seen the farmers, they are using sunny method. They take a straw, then concentrate feed, then some amount of the green roughage also, then they use a small amount of water and they mix it properly in the tub and feeding truck. They mix all the ingredients properly and then move the animal for feeding. So this is the sunny method, and this method is very much important, and this is the traditional feeding system in village area. So application of the sunny method, the animal will get constant amount of the nutrients from all the sources, from dry roughage, from clean roughage, from concentrate as well. And they also getting a small amount of the water as well. So this is the best method of feeding to the animals, sunny method. Next is the densification. So dry roughage which can be placed in a compact heat by application of certain amount of the pressure by the machine, that will reduce the space requirement for storage. Baling, which is a compressed product of the loose straw, by baling, the application of the baling machine is available, and that baler be known as, we can say the machine is baler. So baling machine, which the volume may be reduced to 1/3. So storage space required is very less in case of the baling processing also. And the pelleting, the chopping, first chop the roughage, then grind it, then steaming it, and then pass through a particular size of the dial. So by that way we can make a pellet. CCFB, that is a compressed complete feed block. CCFB is compressed complete feed block making. This machine is also available in the nutrition department, veterinary college department. This machine is available. So compressed complete feed block making machine, that the forage block containing all amount of the nutrients and all kind of the roughage. So we can mix it. They also contain the certain amount of the concentrate as well. So by that way, by mixing, we can apply some amount of the pressure and we can make a block hot. So you can see here, this is the CCFB complete feed block making machine, and some hydraulic pressure will be applied for compacting the size of that roughage or mixture of the roughage and concentrate. So by that way we can make a small size block. It depends on the size of the machine and capacity of the machine. We can also make large size block as well. So coming to the advantage of the complete feed block, what are the advantages? And actually non-conventional feed resources which are not generally used for conventional feeding purposes. So non-conventional feed resources can be used to make the ration. We can use non-conventional feed resources while making this complete feed block, and by that way we can reduce the cost of the production of that block. Less storage space will be required, the space will be reduced to 1/3. Transportation will be easy. So transportation cost also will be reduced due to reduction in the storage space, and palatability of the feeding ingredient will be also enhanced, and the fermentation energy losses will be less in case of the complete feed block, and reduction in the wastage of the feed material is also reduced. So we can reduce the wastage of the feed material, and we can save the labor of while using during the feeding of the animals, and we can reduce the nutrient loss as well. And we can provide a complete nutrient in a single block or a single feed block to the animals for 24 hours. So we can provide a balanced feed in the form of the complete feed block. Next is the chemical treatment of the dry roughages. So first is the alkali treatment, and alkali, what it does, the alkali breaks the ligno-cellulosic bond of the straw, which is linked with the ester linkages, and so once the break or once the ligno-cellulosic bond lose, then the digestibility of that particular stuff will be enhanced. And digestibility will be increased, then the nutrient ability of that feed will be also increased. So first is the sodium hydroxide treatment. We can use sodium hydroxide, 4 kg of sodium hydroxide. This will be dissolved in 200 liters of the water, and that will be sprinkled on 100 kg of the straw. So for 100 kg straw, 4 kg sodium hydroxide and 200 liters water will be required. And the treated straw, once after treatment, the treated straw is left for 3 to 4 hours for reaction before feeding. But the disadvantage is that the sodium hydroxide is costly and it also corrosive in nature. So we can take precaution while application of this treatment. Next is calcium hydroxide treatment. We can take 4 kg calcium hydroxide, which will be dissolved in 100 liters of the water and sprinkle on 100 kg extra. So for 100 kg extra, 4 kg calcium hydroxide and 100 liters water will be required. But again, the disadvantage is the high cost and low solubility of calcium hydroxide in water. So this is the disadvantages. And next is the ammonia treatment. So ammonia treatment, it will break the ligno-cellulosic bond of the straw, and it will improve the digestibility of the straw. It will also improve the nitrogen content of the straw. So by application of ammonia, we can use anhydrous ammonia. So for 100 kg of a straw, which is wrapped in the polythene cover, and we can transfuse or we can inject with the 3 liters of the anhydrous ammonia. In that wrapped polythene cover, we can inject 3 liters of the anhydrous ammonia. But the drawback of this anhydrous ammonia application for the treatment of the straw is it is very costly and it is not freely available. Anhydrous ammonia is also not freely available in the market. Transportation of the gaseous ammonia is very much difficult, and this needs much care, and a skilled person will be required for the treatment of the straw while using the anhydrous ammonia. So these are the drawbacks. So these methods are also not in the practice. But ammoniation through urea, which is very common, and we can practice it, and farmers also practice it for treatment of the dry roughages. So what happens? The urea, this urea is also easily available in the market. So urea, which converted to ammonia and carbon dioxide. So how much urea will be taken? Will be required for treatment of the 100 kg straw? That is the 4 kg, the maximum. That 4 kg is maximum. So maximum 4 kg, we can take less amount because urea is also toxic in nature. So we should take precaution while treating the straw with the urea. So maximum we can take 4 kg urea, which will be dissolved in 40 kg of water, and that spray that solution over 100 kg of straw, and that preserve the treated material under. Just mix the straw properly after spraying. the urea solution, then mix it properly and preserve the treated material under the airtight condition using plastic sheets. So we can cover the treated straw by plastic sheet where there is no exchange of the air takes place from the outside and inside. And we kept it for 3 weeks in a hot season. If summer condition, then we can leave it for 3 weeks, and in cold season or cold weather, we can leave it for 4 to 5 weeks. And after that, we can start feeding the urea treated extra slowly, not 100% replacement, but slowly we can replace in 1 week. So, what are the benefit of urea ammoniation? That is, increase the protein content, DCP content of the feed, improve the palatability of the straw, improve the digestibility of that particular straw, improve the rumen degradability of that particular feed, and which is less expensive. The cost of the urea is not much more, so it is less expensive also. So these are the benefits of the urea treatment. Next is the urea molasses mineral block. How we can prepare urea molasses mineral block, and what are the composition of UMMB, that is urea molasses mineral block. So molasses should be 45%, urea should be 15%, mineral mixture should be 15%, salt should be 8%, calcite powder should be 4%, bentonite, that is bonding material, so bentonite should be 3%, and cotton seed meal or wheat extra. We can take any one, cotton seed meal or wheat extra, that is 10%. And the specification is the urea should be maximum 15%, and the crude protein of that UMMB is 58%, and phosphorus content is 1.5%. So this is the specification of that particular UMMB. So what precautions should be taken while feeding the urea treated straw? So you just remember this point, that below 6 month calf or below 6 month age of the animal, we cannot feed, or we should not offer urea treated feed, because rumen was not completely developed in that particular young animals. So once the rumen will not develop, so urea will not utilize properly, and they may cause toxicity to that particular animal. So we cannot offer the urea treated feed below 6 months of age, or we cannot offer to the calf. So never cross the limit of 116 gram of urea for adult cattle and 10 gram for sheep. Just keep remember this value, and provide sufficient amount of the drinking water while feeding urea treated. Uniform mixing of the urea, which is very much essential to avoid urea toxicity. So mixing of or sprinkling properly and mix it properly while treating the urea with straw, and avoid dietary inclusion of the urea certainly. So diet should be not a sudden change of the diet. We can mix a small amount of urea treated straw in around 10 to, we can replace it completely in 7 to 10 days, and provide sufficient amount of the soluble carbohydrate for better efficient or for better utilization of the urea. So soluble carbohydrate should be provided while feeding the urea treated straw as well for better utilization of the urea. Now coming to the urea toxicity, what happens? The urea which degrades to ammonia, and ammonia which is utilized by the rumen microbes to synthesize the microbial protein, and the microbial protein which is digested in the small intestine to provide protein for the animal for different uses or used at cellular level. So the optimum ammonia concentration, which should be 5 to 8 milligram per 100 ml of rumen liquor. So this is the optimum level, 5 to 8 milligram per 100 ml of rumen liver. And above this level, the blood ammonia level will rise. And once the blood ammonia level will be rise, then toxicity of the ammonia will in that particular animal will be happens. And 1 milligram ammonia per 100 ml blood, which is toxic. So 1 milligram ammonia per 100 ml blood is toxic, and 3 milligram ammonia per 100 ml blood is lethal. So after increasing 1 milligram ammonia in the blood concentration, and the 3 milligram is the lethal dose. So animal may die once increase the concentration of the blood ammonia up to 3 milligram. So you just remember this data. What are the common reason for ammonia toxicity or urea toxicity? That is the improper dose rate of the urea, first reason. Improper mixing of the urea in the feed, this is the second reason. And accidental use by the animal at farm store. So sometimes the animal consumes suddenly more amount of the urea. So these are the basic 3 reasons for these are the common reasons for urea toxicity. And symptom is the bloat, that means gas production in the rumen, and so development of the bloat, so failure of the erectation process, and excessive salivation, respiratory difficulties in the animals, bellowing, and simultaneously nervous problem, nerval disorder will be occur, like convulsion may develop. So these are the symptoms of the ammonia or urea toxicity. What is the possible treatment while these symptoms develop? That we can drench or we can offer 20 to 40 liter cold water to the animal immediately. So we can offer around 40 liter water, cold water immediately, that will inhibit the urolytic activity in the rumen. And we can drench it 4 to 5 liter of 10% acetic acid to reduce the pH of the rumen and or try to neutralize the pH of the rumen, so that acetic acid will bind with the ammonia and reduce the pH of the rumen. By that way, we can immediately relieve from the urea toxicity in that animal. Next is the biological method of processing of quality roughages. Actually, there are the 3 major groups, that is brown rot fungi, soft rot fungi, and white rot fungi. So brown rot fungi, which is preferentially, which attacks the cellulose and hemicellulose part of the roughages and leaves behind a brown residue. So by that way, we can say that brown rot fungi. And the soft rot fungi, that Chaetomium celluliticum, which leaves the they attack the ligno-cellulose material, and which leaves a watery soft and break down the cellulose and hemicellulose portion of the particular roughages. And white rot fungi, the example is Hydroxide, and Chrysosporium, which is capable of degrading lignin without much affecting the cellulose and hemicellulose. So white rot fungi is specific to the lignin degrader. So they are degrading the lignin. And this soft rot and brown rot fungi mainly degrading the cellulose and hemicellulose. So what is the solid gastric fermentation of the astra using lignolytic fungi? Actually, one Indo-Dutch project entitled Bioconversion of the crop residue, which was launched in India, and at NDRI Karnal, Southern Regional Station of NDRI Bangalore, and BIFE, that is Bharti Agro Industries Foundation, Pune, and Pantnagar as well. So this is the Indo-Dutch project project or bioconversion of the crop residue. And at NDRI kernel, the mycologist under this project supplied a non-toxic alkalophilic lignolytic fungi. That name of that fungi is Coprinus hymetarius. So Coprinus hymetarius was used for the treatment of the straw, which could be grow in the alkali condition of the urea and ammonia treated straw. So that fungi was used for treatment of the straw, and use of the urea treated straw as a substrate for the growth of this fungi, that is the Coprinus hymetarius, which provided the dual benefit for keeping the contaminants at the base through higher pH, and at the same time which provides the nitrogen for mycelial growth. So mycelium of the fungi will grow faster by that way, by using the urea treated straw, and the growth will be more. So this Coprinus hymetarius will be more effective in the degrading of the lignin component of the fibrous pigment. So the process is also known as the kernel process, and because of this experiment was conducted at kernel and dairy kernel, it is essentially a biological treatment of ligno-cellulose in a solid state fermentation by the application of solid state fermentation technology. And in the first stage, the wheat or paddy straw, which is treated with 4% urea, keeping moisture level 40%, and then inside for 30 days. That means we can keep the treated straw for 30 days or 1 month. In second stage, there are two stages of the kernel process: first stage and second stage. In second stage, 10 kg treated straw is mixed thoroughly with 60 gram single superphosphate or SSP, single superphosphate, and 6 gram calcium oxide, dissolved in 8 liter of the water, and mix it the 10 kg straw thoroughly. And next to that, the inoculum of the Coprinus hymetarius culture grown on the millet seed is evenly cast on the mineralized and moisturized treated straw. And this process is repeated again and again till the required material is treated. So we can use the inoculum of the Coprinus hymetarius culture for the treatment of that straw, and the substantial increase was noted in respect of the amino acid content of the treated straw, and also which indicates that the ammonia captured by the Coprinus hymetarius, which was mainly utilized for the synthesis of amino acid losses. So by that way we can apply the biological methods for treatment of the inferior quality or poor quality roughages, and we can improve the digestibility of the particular roughages. So this is all about the different processing methods. So